This is wild. This was a wild paper to read. I sat down, it read like an action movie in my brain. I don't know, while I was reading it, I'm like, oh man, this is like Mission Impossible style, this whole thing. Fantastic paper. So, what the hell is this? Capacitive touchscreens at risk. Recovering handwritten trajectory on smartphone via electromagnetic emanations. Yeah. So, as you look at the study, okay, they lay out some groundwork. What they first lay out is how touchscreen, capacitive touchscreen writing works with pencils. So the special pencils, for example, that you would use on your phones, iPads, etc., or your finger. Now, they have this initial set of concepts here. Long story short, I did not know this, but apparently, simply having your finger close to the touchscreen is enough to cause disturbances or electromagnetic interference that the capacitive touchscreen of a lot of phones picks up on. I want you to think about what that means. Not only does it mean that you don't even have to press your finger directly on the screen, you just have to be close enough to it. It also means that the electromagnetic, let's say, information or signals that are emanated from your phone are now with you when you put it next to your face as you pick up a phone call, or in your pocket, in your crotchal area, let's say, okay, when it's sitting on your lap or wherever it is. And I don't know, I could go conspiracy style and talk about how that has a huge impact when you start considering how many people have phones, and then you bring a bunch of people into one location, and the electromagnetic signals that are simply emanated from just the touchscreen alone. Anyways, okay, so they lay the groundwork for that. They talk about the different kinds of phones that they used: iPhone X, Xiaomi 10 Pro, Samsung S10, Huawei Mate 30 Pro. They talked about the transmission, so TX, and receivers, RX, on the capacitive touchscreens. There's an electrostatic field. The fact that your finger gets close to it can perturb this field, etc., etc. They go over that. They break that down. Now, it's really interesting. What they ended up doing was using this Jacquard index, which is well, it says it right there. It was introduced by Swiss Jacquard to compare the distribution of flora across different geographic regions. As it turns out, this algorithm essentially can be used in a lot of different places. So they used it to help them out with their determination of how to capture people's handwriting remotely. So, how does this work? Well, first they talk about related works. Okay, great. Then they talk about the threat model. So, here's the threat model, all right? We consider two practical attack scenarios in both public, like a library, and private, like a meeting room. In these scenarios, a victim places the smartphone on a table to perform sensitive handwritten input, such as signing a legal document, authorizing a financial transaction, or writing a private note. The attacker has previously deployed a concealed EM probe, electromagnetic probe, in close proximity, beneath the tabletop or inside a nearby bag, which non-intrusively captures the EM emanations produced by the victim's continuous finger movements on the touchscreen. We assume they can capture the signals, that they can identify the victim's phone model through network traffic analysis or Bluetooth sniffing, but they don't require physical access to the device, nor do they require installing malicious software. They also don't need to observe what's going on. All they have to do is wait for the passive electromagnetic disturbances as people are using their touchscreen, and then they plot it on an oscilloscope. If you don't know what an oscilloscope is, it's essentially something that takes in this kind of information. It reads in, electromagnetic interference and stuff like that, and it creates a chart or plots it for you on a chart. Now, what they can then do is they can take the information that they've received from this electromagnetic receiver, essentially, where they see the disturbances in electromagnetic signals being sent from your phone as you're using the touchscreen. They put that through on an oscilloscope at the end after they've captured all the data. And then, as you can see up here, so let me see if I can do this correctly. So as you can see up here, they go and break it down. So when they see a higher signal, it probably means that the person's finger or pen was on the phone, more directly, etc. Now, they've gone even further with this. The data that they collect not only gives them the ability to see the pressure or amount of activity that a user took on their phone, but they can also determine, using the strength of these signals, what the person was writing. So what they do is they break down the signals as they come in and map it onto a grid exactly as you see over here in this grid. They map it over a 2D grid that represents essentially the dimensions of the phone. And as such, what they can do is they can determine at any given snapshot of the data capture which portion of the screen of your phone was most active at that time. Therefore, they can recapture characters and words that you wrote during your handwriting. I just want you to have a look right over here. Have a look at this. Let me do this. I'll zoom in more. Okay, this right there, the top is what was typed in by the person who was using the phone, and the bottom right here is what was recovered. And you can see it's pretty darn close. I mean, for all intents and purposes, you are truly getting what people were writing on their phones. Their accuracy rate, in some cases, as low as 60%, and in other cases, as high as 95, I want to say, or 98%. I mean, the accuracy rate was insane. So, yes. Yeah, this is a easy way to collect information about what someone is writing. All you have to do is get them within proximity of the electromagnetic system that reads the electromagnetic signals coming off of the phone, then map it out, and then step by step follow this paper, and voila, you've got everything that a person was writing during their time with you. You can even use this to do things like get passwords, or some people have those shapes. They have to put in shapes and connect the dots and whatever as a password. You could get all of that. This is it's wild. This was a wild study